Good evening. I'm Glenda Carlin, and this is our weekly Zoom, A Course in Miracles and Tibetan Buddhist meeting. And I record it and then post it on YouTube for those that want to hear this later. Today is February 3rd, 2026. And of course, Holy Spirit, Jesus, Buddha, and the enlightened beings are always here, but we invite them in for sure. Help me, guide me what to do or say, and help those present in this live call, Zoom call, have the insights and get the tools from this that they need, and those that listen to this later on YouTube. Help them, help me, help us all. Thank you, thank you, thank you. The title for tonight's teaching is Nowness Awareness Has Awakened for Me. And as I was walking, after I open up the Zoom meeting room and then I go and get changed for the meeting, and as I was walking through my condo here, the Holy Spirit, what's happened because of this Nowness Awareness awakening, I can very clearly hear the thoughts, whether they're thoughts of the six stimuli, the six senses, or Holy Spirit, or some people call it their higher nature. There's the little self, and the big self, the big S self, the little mind and the big M mind, the God, Christ, Buddha mind, etc. The Christ, Buddha, God's higher self. But that higher consciousness is here with all of us. I'm not anything special. It's just I've been really, really practicing, letting thoughts, feelings, and sensations come and go without having attachment and aversion, and practicing Cretchet or Jesus's advanced forgiveness, seeing through, being through, cutting through the images to see the clear light of spirit or God that's here. Now, yesterday I thought about, I talk about these things, but I wonder how many of us or how many of you actually get what I'm saying. It's just so huge to actually practice. This is the practice of these key points and key points I try to point out to you that have helped me to the position that I'm in now. But anyway, I'm not kidding. It's like I have to remember to do it. Remember to stop when I'm talking to someone, to think, see through their form to the clear light of spirit. Or when I'm watching TV, to see through the images, the actors, the clear light of spirit that's there. See through a chair in my living room. It's a constant practice. But and then besides that is it's called Tonglen, that circle of love, where you recognize your breath, that out breath that you have. With that out breath comes the great ray light that's sending sunshine, sending the purity of God's spirit out into the universe. And on your in breath, it is vacuuming up, sucking up the darkness of thoughts of separation that all the universe of beings have. You don't take on their illness or their dark thoughts. It's a natural, your in-breath just breathes in, brings in the broken up thoughts of separation, and they go immediately back to source and get liberated. You don't have to liberate them. You don't have to take them on, not at all. Now, if you feel uncomfortable doing this, don't do it. But it just on the out breath, the light energy goes out. The in breath, thoughts and feelings get brought back to source to be liberated. You don't even have to identify them as darkness or thoughts of separation. They're just thoughts and feelings that get liberated back to source. That's Tonglen. And Togal, Togal, is being there while getting there. That means that practice I talked to you all about is letting go, means to let come and go and just be. To just be I never knew how to just be. It's only in the last couple of months. But we still visualize and think about and contemplate and reflect on what being is. Being is whenever you're not doing, you just kind of take that breath and exhale and you're relaxed and you feel the edges of your body disappear. And that relaxation and union for that moment, that's beingness. That's your natural state. Your natural God presence is, and your natural essence is there. That's being there while getting there. Let's see, and then meditation, sky gazing to space mingling meditation. But tonight I want to read from this book, Buddha Standard Time, that I'm going to be teaching from in the next, maybe not next week, but 4 to 6 weeks after that, where you have a chance to get the book. It's called Buddha Standard Time by Lama Surya Das. It's, I think it was first released in 2012. And before I started the recording, people were commenting on, well, they found the book, but it was $55 or something. So Julia explained, besides, you can go to eBay. And eBay in the upper right-hand corner, there's a filter and you filter lowest price or something like that. And then you enter the book name. And then you have to scroll down because each person that's selling this book on eBay comes up with their own price. He found books at like $5, $8. Then Dee started scrolling on eBay and found them for $8, $5, $4.69. So don't get frustrated that you found the book at $55 or $31. Go check eBay out. And I highly recommend it in book form because then you can write. See all my stickies and I probably my underlines. You make notes. That I find handwriting kind of puts it stronger into my unconscious mind, etc. Whatever. But anyway, in this book, Buddha Standard Time, I wanted to clarify the word meditation. Because I think Lynn's not here. I wish Lynn was here. People get turned off when I start talking about meditating because heck, they don't want to do it. They want, for whatever reason. Some say, well, heck, I just have all these thoughts. And I hear holy enlightened beings go, oh, good. Because now at least you're aware of what that mind is doing. And so you're not trying to repress the thoughts, deny them, shove them away, swat them or label them good and bad. You're just becoming, oh, look, here's Lynn. Don't you love that on synchronicity? Here comes Lynn. I'm going to wait us here a second. Welcome, Lynn. Lynn, I was just talking about you. Are your ears burning? What I was talking about is I'm explaining hi, Lynn, 4 or 5 things I've been practicing. I'm trying to, oh, good. Everybody's muted. So the sound, oh, there's Debbie. Welcome, Debbie. So the muting, then there's not a vibration with the sound, but she's not, I don't hear my voice vibrating, so it's not interfering. The topic of tonight's teaching is Nowness Awareness has awakened for me. And I was discussing the 5 or 6 things I've been practicing that's caused this to occur. And it's Trechet or Jesus' advanced forgiveness, seeing through, being through the image to see the clear light of spirit that's there. You don't even have to see the clear light. You just think the clear light of spirit's there because you know it's there. Togal is being there while getting there, means when you take that breath and exhale and you just relax yourself, your skin relaxes and you're in union in that moment with everything, source and all the clear light essence of every being, every sentient being. Tonglen is breathing out sunshine and then in breath, just see that thoughts, feelings, and sensations get taken back to source to be liberated. And then that's the circle of love. That's the circle of love. And then the last one I was saying was meditation, sky gazing, space mingling meditation. But I was saying sometimes I think meditation has a bad rap, that people don't, there's so many aspects to meditation. And in this Lama Surya Das book, there's a page, did I say what page? Well, maybe I didn't. The chapter is called Saving Time for Your Higher Self. I want to read this because I want you to kind of just lean back, take it in, that there's more to meditation. It's mindfulness, really, that we're practicing. And here's what Lama Surya Das writes: unload the dishwasher or pile up the newspapers to recycle, but do it with every ounce of your attention. I find that doing this with full focus re-energizes me. Such, and then he's got in quotes, full connection meditation, as I call it, collects all our scattered energies and dissipated thoughts and channels them into the production of one chore. The result is that we feel restored and fulfilled. When we practice and internalize the principle of full connection meditation. Now that 3 words, full meditation connection. You're not sitting with a group for 15, 30 minutes meditating. We're talking unloading the dishwasher. I've not explained it this well. You give it your full attention. I describe it as giving it your 100% fully present with what you're doing as you're doing it. And I had no idea what would result from these practices that I just outlined. I'm going to finish reading that paragraph in just a second. But what's happened is each time you take your attention and you see through a form to the clear light or think of the clear light, in that second, you are in the openness of the now moment. The now moment where God lives and your Christ Buddha nature lives. In that moment, you're in the nowness awareness. Then it's gone. So this constant practicing, what happens, all this builds on itself, and you're more and more in the now. I never knew what nowness awareness meant. Nowness awareness is describing what he's saying here, full connection meditation. We get the most out of every moment, whether at work, at home, raking leaves, playing with a pet, conversing with a friend, making love, or making dinner. We can reap the rewards of this deep yet simple contemplation in action. See, that's unloading the dishwasher. You're doing as you're being with it. This is so big that I can't even describe how huge this is, because that's a polarity. Doing and being are opposites and are why we're asleep, because we're in the mode of doing, not being. But in nowness awareness, doing and being get reconciled. They are rejoined. They're no longer separate. But anyway, let me continue here for a second. We can reap the rewards of this deep yet simple contemplation in action anywhere, anytime, with anyone. The better you get at it, the more you will understand one of the secrets to living in Buddha standard time. Buddha standard time is the 4th time, the vertical now moment that intersects horizontal linear now, present, past, and future. It's not time that we lack, but focus. And that was in italics. It's not time we lack, but focus. And that's the focusing of our attention, 100%, given 100% of our attention with what we're doing while we're doing it. And guess what happens when you do that? You recognize when your mind wandered off to the past or the future, and with a leash of remindfulness, you bring your mind back to center, to the now moment, thinking about the clear light or just a moment of pause, and then you're back going, now what am I doing? Oh, I'm walking. Am I aware my foot is in my shoe, touching the floor, and the next foot comes down? Am I fully present with walking, being inside this body? And then you'll be fully present with how the body feels. Then you'll be fully present of what thoughts are going on, because that's your Christ Buddha beingness, your spirit living within the human form, being fully conscious and fully awake in the now moment. I had no idea what would happen it, to me. What's happened in the last week is there's been a culmination of several experiences to where the heart mind are rejoined, the body feels full of God's presence, and due to the heart chakra, I'm going to explain that in a minute, opened, then I feel this lovingness of this presence that's our presence, this lovingness of this fullness that's from head to toe. It fills my form. My body is no longer separate from the clear light of spirit. Then this third eye back, and I had to recheck some dates, October 9th of last year, when the third eye, when I did that practice that post of looking at my two eyes in the mirror and feeling the two eyes drawn into the great ray tube back to source, to see the shiny source presence, to see God. You actually see God, shiny God's presence, which is your presence. The shininess is this lucidity, this effervescence of this. You're so awake, so with it, so in the now. There's just an effervescence, a shine, a luminosity to your spirit. I mean, to your presence. But anyway, the Course talks about it, but Buddhism talks about it too. There's a transformation and a transmutation of your body, mind, heart, and your body, heart, mind into the embodiment of Christ Buddha, the embodiment of God nature. I can't even describe. The heart is open. This loving, unconditional lovingness accepts whatever thoughts, feelings, and sensations are going on in the mind. I'm no longer attaching to them or having aversion to them. They're coming and going on their own, all on their own. And I'm just aware. I'm in the now moment, aware. Wow, aware of this full, open fullness, but this openness, this balanced. Balanced is the word I want to say. Balanced, centered, all centered, interconnected. So let me, where there's a sense of like a pendulum. You know, a pendulum, if you have a grandfather clock or seen the grandfather clock, a pendulum, it's a rod. There's a straight rod with a bob on the bottom, and a weight on the bottom of this rod. And at the top, there's a pivot point. There's a point that this rod swings from. And then it comes back to center and it swings. It's swinging left and right. And this is significant. This great ray that some of you are experiencing, starting to feel that energy, it comes in the top of the head and goes down, straight down your head into the form. And due to, let's see, what date was this? my heart chakra has been opening over the last year or so, but on the 29th, the great ray, I felt the great ray come down. Well, first I felt a spot of intense contraction, almost pain to the right of the center of my chest. And I'm pretty in tune with how my body feels. And I'm going, oh my, I wonder what that is. And I recognize to the right of the center of the chest is the heart chakra. The heart muscles, not the heart chakra, but it's to the right of center. That's where this spot of some tense tightness was. And then I started to feel the great ray came down and the great ray spirals. It would spiral in light right on that spot, just real tight. And I knew when that was happening, it's wanting to open the heart chakra some more. And I just, I'm just aware of this, letting it be. And what happens, because I'm just like, I was laid down. It was when I woke up one morning and laying flat in bed. Then I felt this soft vibration, in and out vibration. And I knew it was divine love that from the heart chakra that opened was softly vibrating head to toe. I've not felt it head to toe vibrate in and out. The heart chakra opened, and it's even the next day, I forget when the pendulum could be 1:30. I made notes. 1:30. That was the heart 129, 1:30. So why I'm describing this is before the heart chakra opened, the great ray sometimes would be from my head, maybe down to my belly, but I never really felt it. I never really felt this rod or this great ray come down my form like some pendulum. It was a rod, a pendulum that was swinging. So because the heart opened, divine love. Oh, I have felt the great rays, light, radiance, the fullness of that. But I have to tell you, I've not felt the loving presence of it. So with the heart chakra open, I was starting to feel this added component of loving presence. And so then because love was present, this great ray dropped. I felt it drop to where the bottom of the rod, so to speak, was at my navel. And this vertical line was swinging left and right. It just was softly swinging left and right. That was the 30th. Then on the 31st, on my forehead, as I was lying in bed again or sitting in my living room chair, when I sit in my chair, I lean back in my mind naturally, and I feel the great ray come in and go out, but yet it just goes back, it just comes in and goes out. But it happened that night where I felt a pressure. It was like a band of pressure on my forehead. I'm not kidding you, pressure on my forehead. And I know when there's pressure, the light is doing work, more work. So, and then you know what I thought about? The corpus callosum. Now Angela wasn't here last week. That's that tiny cable of nerves that connects the right hemisphere of the brain with the left hemisphere of the brain. And it's called a bridge between these two hemispheres. You can Google corpus, CORPUSCALLOSUM. You'll see pictures of it, and they'll tell you about it. The right hemisphere, and I printed this out because I want to be able to read this. Because the right hemisphere. Oh wait, this is from Lama Surya Dasa's book, Buddha Standard Time, where he was discussing that Jill Bolte Taylor, the Harvard trained neuroscientist that had a stroke And in that stroke, the left side of her brain shut down, but the right side was totally open. She later made notes. She was like floating in the sky. And see, that's beingness. That's total spiritual presence, just floating, just floating. Spaciousness, blue sky. She'd name it blue sky. Say timelessness, interconnectedness, timelessness. And she had over 8 years had to do exercises to get her left brain to retalk to the right side. Well, this is putting that bridge back together that goes between them, because the left side is doingness. The left side is the thinking side of the brain. That's called the relative physical side realm. And the right side is the holy divine beingness realm. There's this bridge that connects them. But guess what? Due to our thoughts of separation, that bridge is blocked. And so the two hemispheres aren't in balance. Usually people talk about, oh, I'm just a right brain person. I'm just creative. I can only think images, or not think image, visualize images. I really can't do much of this. And the other people go, oh, I'm just a left brain, whatever. Or they'll talk about they're more male oriented than female oriented, because the right side of the brain is the feminine nature. The left side is the masculine nature. Why I'm taking time to explain this is a awakening is a physiological occurrence besides spiritual. Your mind, body, heart gets transformed into the embodiment of spacious, lovey beingness, but you're connected with doingness. So this band of energy that went across my forehead, then the next day I noticed this great ray. It's where it was centered was different. Now this is important too, because as we awaken, we're more have stillness, quiet, but we're opening up to the still center, which is this connection point where the great ray meets this corpus callosum. I'm not kidding you. And to me, the pivot point for the great ray pendulum is Nowness Awareness. Because when that tiny cable of fibers opens, both sides of the brain are talking to each other. So yin and yang, which is masculine and feminine, that's a polarity. Subject and object, that's thinking. Subject, that reconciles. Inner and outer reconciles. Just time and timelessness reconciles. And in essence, heaven and earth is reconciling. The great rays coming in, it's intersecting this horizontal corpus callosum, or this tiny cable of nerves. And guess what happens? Everything's balanced. The horizontal physical world is balanced with the vertical spiritual presence. It's balanced. And so the pivot point I found was right here, and this ray was just swinging in balance. Left, it was going left, real soft, left and right. And everything's reconciled. That's what awakening does. It's reconciling all our polarities of opposites. I never, when I used to think awakening was so simple, it's just you awake to your nature. Well, it's a physiological, there's a whole transformation occurs. This varies by person, but y'all to be listening to me talk, I bet your physiology is changing. But that's why I want to bring up about mindfulness, because Nowness Awareness is awakened. And that means I'm aware. I'm aware of this beingness side and the doingness side. And I'm no longer doing the thinking. I'm no longer, I, I'm the old Glenda is not here. I am different. I eat different. I breathe different. I walk different. I think different. I mean, it's all different. It's because I'm in the now. I'm aware and present with what I'm doing while I'm doing it. It's such a pleasure and such a joy to realize I'm resting in the beingness of God's presence while I'm doing something. It doesn't go away because it's stabilized. But if I didn't practice the things I was talking to you about, Tretchen or Jesus' advanced forgiveness, Togal, being there while getting there, Tonglen, the circle of purity, mindfulness, I'm going to talk about there's 6 kinds of it, meaning being totally 100% present with what I'm doing while I'm doing it, and sky gazing, space mingling meditation. But you can call mindfulness, just name it something else, attention. Can you put your attention fully on what the heck you're doing while you're doing it? Can you focus your attention? It's called concentration. I had no idea that doing these practices would result in the awakening. I didn't know what awakening meant. Be fully present with what you're doing while you're doing it. And you're aware of your beingness while you're doing something. Beingness and doingness have joined. Oh man. Oh man. Oh, let's see what else. Let's see what I want to read. The 6 kinds of mindfulness. Oh, back on that pendulum. That great ray changed into a pendulum, this rocking motion, soft, subtle rocking motion, back and forth. It's connecting earth with heaven. On the right side is heaven, left side is earth, physical. Right side, absolute God, left side, physical earth. Relative, back and forth, connecting them all. I remembered the baby body meditation that came to me when I was reading that Diljo Kimsi Rinpoche Life Works, where repeatedly throughout this thick book, an inch or more thick book, he wrote something like, all living beings have been your parents in one lifetime or another. I'm going to repeat that. All living beings have been your parents in this life, in one lifetime or another. I took that to heart. And so what I did, I started when I went to the health club. I forget what date that was. That was last year. When I go to the health club, I'd picture looking, wait, before the health club, I'd picture anybody I thought I didn't like or something I didn't love. I pictured them as their self holding me as a baby. I was a baby. And their arms, you know how you cradle a baby? I was the baby. I was being held in their arms. And you know how you cradle a baby? You naturally, guess what? You start rocking it. You rock it back and forth, back and forth. And guess why you rock it back and forth? Because that's your natural state. The great rays coming in and rocking you unconsciously back and forth, back and forth. But anyway, so they're rocking me as a baby. And guess what that person does when they rock you as a baby? They look at you and they Google, "Ooh, you sweet thing. I love you so much. You're so cute. I love you so much." Now, if your parents weren't loving, then picture somebody else. But then you go to the next person and the next person and the next person. And guess what? When they're cradling your little baby body, newborn or a month old or 2 months, and you're held across their chest. You feel the warmth of their skin. They don't know it, but their divine love is beating out their body as a heartbeat. Their breath and energy is following that great ray, and they don't know it. which is covering, bringing divinity right there, and they're softened. They have softened because they're cradling the little baby body. They're not hard and rigid and uncontracted, where they don't feel the loving presence of themselves or source. So anyway, love opens, but not just for the person that's rocking you, but the little baby body. It feels love towards that person that you're picturing that's rocking you. So you feel loving towards them. Then you go to the next person and the next person. And before you know it, you realize, hey, I can love these people. I don't have to like them, but I love them. I can love them. But also, they've been your parents in one lifetime or another. But anyway, back to mindfulness. I was listening to a podcast, EP 41 of Lama Surya Das, named Awakening Buddha Within, the 6 kinds of mindfulness. 6 kinds of mindfulness. Because I want you to be aware of this 6 kinds versus just the kind that I keep talking about, which is being fully 100% present with what you're doing while you're doing it. But as an aside, in this, I forget if it's Buddha Standard Time, Lama Surya Das talks about 2 things he does every day. One is he meditates for morning and evening, but second, he puts 100% of his awareness with what he's doing as he's doing it. This guy's, he's a holy enlightened guru, 50 years teaching all this, and he still practices putting 100% of his awareness, attention on what he's doing while he's doing it, because he knows the mind will wander. But anyway, here's the 6 kinds of mindfulness. Now, Buddhism doesn't call it mindfulness, so to speak. They call it remembrances or recollection. Now, mindfulness is another word for meditation, as we learned. Just being present with what you're doing while you're doing it is that what he called those 3 words that I've already. Full connection meditation. Full connection meditation. But anyway, the first one is mindfulness of the path, that you're on a path, that you're on a spiritual journey, not that you got a goal to awaken, not that at all, not fixated on finishing anything, because as I share, my experiences, you feel, well, see, they deepen, they get deeper, deeper, deeper. They get subtler. Things are subtler, more tuning into feelings and thoughts and sensations, and how you're feeling, the body feels, etc. Being more present, you're being more present, alert, awake, and lucid with these 6 senses, with thinking being a 6th sense. As a result, then you respond to what's going on instead of reacting. Oh, that's the other thing that's happened with this balanced pendulum that's dropped, that's centered now horizontally and vertically. It's centered, moving left and right. Heaven and earth are joined. Is this total alertness, lucidity, awakefulness, boundlessness, clarity, and knowingness. You damn know you're the presence, the same presence that God is. You know it. You know your beingness. You know you're aware. You know you're awake and lucid, and that you're consciously choosing to do something. You're no longer reacting. You're making choices to do or not do something. But anyway, mindfulness of the path, that this is a sacred life. And he's using recollection instead of mindfulness a lot. You're recollecting. That means what's happening is during the day, you're stopping from rote habitual patterns to interject them with some mindfulness. My second is the view. You're mindful of the view. the big picture, not just being in your left brain. He actually says this in this podcast. Not, and I never picked up on left brain, right brain. All these years I've been listening. Well, it's like 6 years. Only in the last 2 months or last month or the last month did I open the Buddha Phenotype book, and there it is. Whoa, there's a connection point between these two diverse activities or two realms. But anyway, the big picture, we're not just left brained or right brained or just stuck in life itself, you know, uh, or thinking, oh, I really understand this point because I'm really trying to get out of that. No, I'm open. I'm open. Holy Spirit, help me, guide me. Let me the big picture, bigger picture. And he talks about after one of his teachers was explaining something, he made the comment like, I really feel like we understand that now. And the teacher goes, well, then let's turn it over on the other side. There's more to learn. It's like cooking a pancake. Turn it over. There's a whole nother side. If you think you're finished, let's just go look at the other side. That really opens you because see this awakening, this enlightenment, you are vastly open. And these thoughts, feelings, and sensations of world knows, God only knows what all that is, just come. You've opened up and besides the sensations, you're open to this higher self, this higher Christ Buddha nature that talks to you, guides you how to live your daily life. For example, last night at midnight, last night it was 34 degrees, 32. It's freezing here I'm in Rockledge, Florida. 2 nights ago, it was 27 degrees. And our condo association has 2 5-story buildings and a clubhouse in the middle. I forget how big the property is, but all along the front, they planted a new hedge. It's a succulent type hedge that doesn't take a freeze well. But I never thought about that. I didn't have enough sheets to cover it. But the second day it froze, I realized I'm going to go out there to cover up what I can, And then I talked to the board president. Because of freezing pipes, we needed to drip water at the car wash faucet and at the kitchen sink in this clubhouse that's separate from the condo buildings. And it has a heat pump. People aren't there, so it won't crank up to 70. It's like 65. But the point is, pipes could freeze. Hopefully none of that happened to y'all. And they can break. So we drip the water in the kitchen and in the bathroom and at the car wash faucet. I volunteered to help the board president go check on that stuff. So he wasn't night and day just running himself ragged with all these things trying to help us all. And so at midnight, the Holy Spirit says to me, you need to go check that the kitchen sink over there in the clubhouse is dripping and the car wash faucet's dripping. I go, okay. I now got it. Okay. And off I go. And then while I'm walking, I hadn't thought about the bathrooms next to the pool or on the far side, on the end of this clubhouse. And don't you know, someone had left the door closed from the big room that had the heat pump in it, where the heat's coming, where the heat couldn't go in those bathrooms. There's a faucet in there. 2 commodes. 2 commodes are right against the concrete wall, right? So I go, okay, I go in there, go back in there and go in the bathroom and do that. Now, see, what this is doing is Holy Spirit is practical. He didn't want you to have any problems. He didn't want your loved ones having problems. If there's something that could be done in prevention, then, I'm going to do it. I'm not just going to sit, like, oh, everything will be all right. No, we in the end, of course, it will be, but we do our part along the way. Like I'm going to vote, I'm not just going to sit back and wait for somebody else to take charge and blah, blah, blah. But anyway, so back on the 6 types of mindfulness, what all this does, though, it opens you up to this higher self, your higher Christ, Buddha, God nature. That knows, oh, that's what I forgot, knows of the physical world and heaven. See that in A Course in Miracles, it describes the Holy Spirit that way. He knows of heaven and he knows of the earth, of the physical world. And I'm experiencing where this connection point between the vertical great ray meets this tiny cable of nerves that's connecting this physical world, horizontal meeting vertical, heaven and earth together. But this awareness, your higher self knows of both realms. I used to think in awakening, I really never really thought about it. I never hell thought it would be a balanced life, that you'd be living balance between heaven and earth. Honest. I thought, oh, just spiritual, you just be really kind of maybe high on spirit light. I don't know. No, it's practical. Practical. Your feet are on the ground. You're aware of how you're feeling. You're aware of thoughts. You're aware of this voice, and you can be guided what to do or say. Living your life in balance, in balance. Oh, and then what's happening is I recognized just because it's in balance, heaven and earth, doesn't mean that sometime there might not be some life or death situation. And guess what? If that happens, you can bet this pendulum is going to swing left to the animalistic survival to protect you, to keep you safe in that life or death situation. And then when that's over, it swings back to center, and it's then swinging right and left in balance. And then other times, when you're meditating or whatever, mindfulness or whatever, you're just in beingness, But other times, there's a balance between doing and being, like when I'm walking or when I'm eating. I'm aware of beingness while I'm doing the activity. That's both of them together. The picture, what I'm saying is, sometimes it's a left brain activity. Sometimes it's a right brain, total bliss, kind of peaceful activity. Other times it's a more centered doing and being together. So it's not like awakening, you're one way or the other. This whole realm of responses is open to you. Sometimes you're more forceful than other times. It's all this inner guidance that you are now awake and aware to. Balanced, you're balanced in equilibrium. Equilibrium. That's why we're practicing mindfulness, to be aware when the mind wanders off to the past or future, to bring it back to center, because that's what you're doing. You're bringing your mind back from that left brain activity, coming back to center. Other times you're bringing it from a right brain being activity back to center. You're practicing over and over, and it's opening this cable, this bridge. Jesus talks about a bridge in A Course in Miracles, and I forgot to look up what he means, but that's the bridge. This is the bridge between the two hemispheres, the two brains. The third mindfulness is remindfulness of meditation, to pay attention, to be present. I think I've already covered that one. 4, revelation of personal instructions from your teachers, mentors, parents, spiritual beings for your personal life. Some of them can be called pith instructions. Like tonight, I'm covering pith instructions, things I practice that help me. And if they're tips and pointers that can help you, yay, pick the ones, and even try to practice some of these that I'm talking about. You may see that you like them. It works. Now that's the 4th one. Tips and pointers not to be forgotten, recollecting those during your day. Oh yeah, I could breathe, smile, relax. Oh yeah, I could practice seeing through that form. Oh, I recognize there's a bigger picture than this. My mind just narrowed down to, oh, that's just a cutthroat evil person. I can open back up to see past that, etc. Number 5, recollection of the Sangha, kindred spirits, community. Just recognizing us getting together like this affects our feelings, opens our awareness, opens the synergistic effect of all of us together. What these 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 awareness are better than one awareness. It's opening us up. That's we're not alone. We're not alone. Others went before us. That's what I love thinking about our lineage holders, Jesus, Buddha, all these beautiful teachers, Diljo, Kinsey, Rinpoche. Minga Rinpoche is still alive here, but Nosho Kempo, and then King Ning Karoli Baba, then Jusuri, all these lineage holders, Tara, because it wasn't a real person, that was like a image. But there's actual human beings that are enlightened that you can call on and be with, not just the Sangha here. You can pause, take a breath, and just picture them. Their picture of Mother Teresa, I don't even know, the Dalai Lama, the India leader, Gandhi. There's these different people that embody characteristics that you wish maybe that you had, or you could do more, feel more like that throughout the day. So you call on them. And in that moment, guess what? You're in Nowness Awareness. You just interrupted reacting. You just interrupted an habitual life to coming to back to your spiritual life that's integrated with your physical life. The last one is recollection of source, origin, of the birthplace, the source where everything comes from and goes back to. Recollecting that, remembering that during the day, calling on that, tracing back, picturing you're like in a movie theater, seeing the turn around, seeing the light coming from that projector, and realizing that light has the images in it that are getting projected on that screen. To turn your attention to follow the light back to the source, which in our case is above our head. The great ray extends above the head, out of that chakra back at the top of the head, back to source. Back to thinking of your origin point, your birthplace. Oh, that was explained like this. Instead of chasing thoughts that go off in the mind, thoughts, feelings, all those, is chase the origin of the thoughts back to the source. Where do these thoughts come from? Where are they? Yeah. Well, it comes from this mind, this creative God mind that when asleep uses its creativity with negative ways, besides holy ways. Well, that's it. Six kinds of mindfulness. See what other notes I've got here. Let's see how 805. That's probably a good part. Yeah, I've covered this. Yeah. So what's happening? This heart chakra has rejoined with this big M mind, heart mind, it's called. So there's big M mind, there's embodiment of the presence of source, and this connection, balance of right and left brain activities, living in balance, in harmony. So now look at what all Nowness Awareness does. Oh, because to summarize, the pivot point is Nowness Awareness that the great ray swings on. Nowness Awareness. In the now moment, the eternal now, the fourth time called Buddha Standard Time, beyond past, present, and future, it's the eternal now. This moment, it's vertical time. Now, that's intersecting this horizontal centeredness. And in that still center, and that there's a stillness where these two meet. Good night, Ed. Thanks for coming out. Good night, Ed. Good night, Ed. But Nowness Awareness brings the embodiment of the Christ Buddha God nature. I never knew it. You think this is just small little practices you're doing. They build on themselves. If you keep practicing, meaning integrate these practices in your daily life, these experiences can occur. But more than that, you become aware of the now moment. You're happier because you're catching when the mind's going off into the past or future where you're ruminating on probably something that was suffering and miserable, possibly, or in a state of judgment. You're happier. You're a happier, more peaceful, centered person being in the now, aware of what you're doing while you're doing it. That's what he kind of described in the very beginning. You feel energized, full connection meditation. It's not that we lack time, but we lack focus. Okay, any thoughts or questions before I stop the recording? And we want to do our practice, but any thoughts or questions or comments how your practice is going? Okay, so then let's take our attention, take our awareness, and go to each tile on the screen and see through their image to the clear light that they are. I'm not going to call out their names. We're just going to do it. Just see through, be through their image to the clear light of spaciousness, loving spaciousness that they are, loving God presence that they are. Dee, Liz, Debbie, Julia. Oh, and as a reminder, please consider purchasing Buddha Standard Time by Lama Surya Das, Buddha Standard Time in book form. Not next week, but the week after. I'll be teaching from I'm teaching from it tonight. But for sure, we'll be reading sections week after next. Buddha Standard. You can go on eBay or remember, go upper right corner, scroll down to buy price point, and they just searched tonight, and there's books $5, $8, $4, $4.69, not $50, not $100. Some are selling them for $100. See, brand new books in perfect condition. That I don't know when the last printing was, but that's why they can ask for stuff like that. But we don't mind when there's a little writing and stuff. But thank you for coming out tonight. I'll stop the recording, but we'll stay to chat for anyone that wants to chat. So thank you for coming out. It truly helps me to see your shining faces and feel your energies, feel your light and love. Thank you. All right. Pause recording.